In this video, we are going to talk about you, mom, dad, being the voice of reason in the life of your teen. All right. And heck, we as adults need a voice of reason from time to time, don't we? Yeah, we do. So, but this isn't about us, is it? Not to that degree, anyway. But it is about you and your teen, about being the voice of reason. It's like the clouds open up, doesn't it? Like this big voice speaks out through there, the voice of reason. But it's not really like that. But it can be, okay, because the voice of reason can be something profound. It can be just something that they need in their life because they do need that in their life. So, being the voice of reason, sometimes I think, we don't really hear, like, probably you even hearing that maybe sounds even like weird to you, kind of sounds awkward, like, what is that? That sounds kind of dumb. But we don't really hear a lot of those, like, even phrases like that, just even that term. Um, and I think a lot of times we don't because our society can be very let them do what they want. It's not a big deal. They got to find things out for themselves, which is true. All right, to a degree, they do need to find some things out for themselves, but they should be finding those things out with protection, okay, from you, not lording over. That's not the same thing. All right, but you in some protection in their home. All right, so as they're branching out and stepping out and doing some new things, that they can come back and guess what, share some of these things with you, mom, dad. All right, because that's what it should be. They go out, they do some things, and then they can come back and they have what, the voice of reason at home, someone they can talk to. And it does need to be you, mom. All right, it really does, dad. Not someone else in their life, because hey, if it isn't you, and you probably know this already, okay, because I have said this in other videos, is they will go to social media, they will find someone that they can talk to. All right, and sometimes social media is the number one thing for them because they, there's a screen there, isn't there? It's not in person. They don't like necessarily having in person conversations. So then, hey, right, they're just on the phone, they're just plugging away, aren't they? So it's not that big of a deal. And because it's in their hand and with them 24/7, they have complete access to that. So if you want to start being the voice of reason, I feel like some music should be playing when I say that, you know, the voice of reason, or like a big echo. Uh, that's just what comes to my mind. But anyway, so when you are being that, it needs to be like a conscious decision on your part. So if you have not been, really plugged in to the life of your teen, now's the time. Today's the day. Go back, watch some other videos that I have in my section here on my channel. All right. And I think it's going to be helpful for you. And if it isn't, you can still pass it on to somebody else. But I really think it's going to be helpful for you. So, how do you be the voice of reason, especially if you have not been? So that might be something that you're thinking about. Is like, wow, okay, well, what do I do? How do I become to be this voice of reason, Shauna, in the life of my teen? Well, all right, I'm going to give you a few things here. Okay, something that you do want to be, in order to be, I should say, the voice of reason is, all right, these are going to be very practical, is be available. All right. Just because you are in the same house, just because you are in the same car, just because you are at the same place does not make you available, does it? No, it does not. So it's a conscious thing that you have to do to be available for your team. So, here's the thing for teenagers. A lot of times, you know, if they're plugged into just sports and activities and whatever the activity they have going on in their life, sometimes they don't get home till really late at night. So one of the things to be available is, what? Go to their event. Oh my golly. Participate in what they're doing. That's being available. That's you showing up for them. And that's actually physically, isn't it? You are physically showing up for them. So when they come to you in a mental capacity, mentally, and they want to connect and talk and have conversation or something like that, then they will want to. All right. But when you don't participate in anything that they're doing, You do not involve yourself in any activity that they are in. And you're just like, yeah, okay, whatever. It's not a big deal because you don't want them to. And it kind of bugs you because now you have to get out of the house. Now you have to go somewhere. Now you got to waste gas. Whatever your thought is and whatever your feeling is, you have to be available. And that's how you become available to be, okay, by participating in the things that interest them, the things that they are doing. So you be available so you can become, all right, the voice of reason in their life. Because if you're not, someone's going to be a voice in their life. And it might not be a voice of good, right? It might not be the voice of reason. It might just be a voice. It might just be something that's there in their life. And most of the time, what do they go to? Social media, don't they? They grab their phone because it's with them 24/7, baby, all of the time. And they have access to it. And one of the reasons why they want to go to that and they like that is because it's a screen between them and whoever's on the other side. They don't have to have eye contact. They don't have to have that physical um, person to person. They don't have to have that. They can say what they want. They can end the conversation. They don't have to talk about it anymore. And that person on that other end of the phone, of the social media account, right, is available. So you need to be available, mom, dad. And like I said, if you haven't been, you need to think about some ways that you can become available. All right. So then when you do become available, all right, something that you need to do, another thing here is listen with your mouth shut. Okay. I know most people have duct tape. If you need to put some duct tape on you to be able to listen with your mouth shut, then you need to do that because you cannot talk and listen at the same time. Try it. You can't. And if you can, it's like this. You're not getting the whole picture, and really it's not you listening, it's you defending. So that's not the same thing, is it? No, it is not. So you want to be the voice of reason, you want to start being plugged in, you want to be that in the life of your teen. You have to be available and you have to listen with your mouth shut. It's hard. I know it can be really hard. It definitely can, but you absolutely have to listen with your mouth shut to what they are saying. And I'm just going to go right into the next one because when you're listening with your mouth shut, then you are able to hear what they are actually saying. So you cannot be defensive because sometimes some of the things that they say is pretty off the wall, isn't it? It makes no sense at all and you're like, "What the blank? Where did you get that information? Where are you hearing these things from? I can't believe that you think that way." Well, hey, that's where mom and dad come in, okay? So that you can train your teen, right, in the way that they should go. So it's a lot of work, okay? Because having children, period, is work and it's effort on your part. And as they grow up and they become teenagers, it's not that big of a window. It's kind of a short, 13 to 19. Okay. And sometimes they're not even in your house at that age, are they? So sometimes they leave at 17 and they're gone. So that's an even shorter window. And sometimes that relationship is completely gone because they're off doing their own thing. And a lot of times they are even way gone is because there was nothing there. I should say there's nothing for them to come home to because there's no relationship. There never has been. Or if it has, it was like when they were little. And then as they became a teenager, it dwindled to nothing. So they're like, they don't even want to come home. There's no reason to come home. They don't care to even be home. So I got to tell you, that's on us sometimes, isn't it? And sometimes, you know what? Hey, they're out doing their own thing and that's okay. All right. And the communication and the connection, it doesn't mean it's lost, but they do contact and they do have connection, communication, but it's not that often, but they still want to have that relationship with you. So if there's no relationship with your teenager, hey, I got to tell you, it's on you, mom and dad. It really, truly is. All right. Because remember this, because I say this all the time, and I'm going to continue to say this because it's not the job of your teen to build a relationship with you. It's your job to build a relationship with your teenager. So if they're just stuck in their room and they're just doing whatever they want on their phone with their TV and there's no relationship, that's on you. All right. So, hey, go in their room and maybe lay in the bed and watch TV with them. All right. But you have to do something in order to start connecting with your teen, not just because, oh, it's time to eat now. So then they come and eat. And then it's like, what? Crickets, isn't it? Complete silence. No one really wants to talk. Or if it does, it's like, it's very few and far between words, period. Right. So you cannot be a voice of reason with no relationship. You can't. All right. Because there is no relationship. Okay. And even though you might be thinking, well, then why do they go to online? Why do they go to social media? Because it's easier to build a relationship that way. It's easier because people want what? Followers. People want to, connect. But, are they really connecting? No, probably not. Not really. All right. They might in a little sense, but not to the point to where they know, your teen. And that's where you have to be knowing, man, I know my teenager, you have to know that, not just let them be off and doing whatever they want. And sometimes that's absolutely nothing. So get plugged in to your teen. All right. And if they aren't doing anything, you have to get them out of the room. You really do, because that's not healthy and that's not a place for them just to be wasting, really, because truly that's what they're doing, is just wasting away and wasting their life into what? Nothing. So as they get older, right? Hey, sometimes they live in your basement for the rest of your life. I think I have a video about that, so you can check that out. All right. So being the voice of reason. So what does that even sound like? So when your teen is coming to you and they have things to say, so maybe, just when I had said, like, sometimes the things they say is so like crazy out there, Looney Tunes. That's where the voice of reason comes in. And that's just you structuring, okay? Not saying, that's so dumb. I can't believe you would think that way. All right. Okay. Well, that's not going to help them to even hear what you said. That's not being the voice of reason. That's just being an angry elf. All right. And yeah, it's and I'm always going to say this too. Sometimes you have to be upset. Sometimes you have to be mad. Sometimes you have to be angry. Sometimes you have to raise your voice. Sometimes you have to do those things. So I'm not trying to say coddle your teen, because no. All right. That does not help them. Don't be coddling. Don't be doing those things. So when you're becoming available, that's not, oh, honey, whatever you want. Okay. That's no, you cannot do that. All right. Not for them to be productive citizens of society, which, hey, is pretty soon, isn't it? So, like I said, that time is a lot sooner than maybe you even realize. So you have to, not live in denial. Okay. So being the voice of reason sometimes is even this, that you say, okay, so they've been gone, I don't know, days, they've been gone a lot because, of activities, things that they're doing, and maybe even work. And now they just want to constantly be gone, be gone, be gone, be gone, be gone, be gone, be gone. The voice of reason says what? This, hey, you know what? I think you need to stay home tonight. Okay. They get mad. Yeah. Well, I'm sorry, but you know what? And you can even say that I have to be the voice of reason in your life. You can even start using that as a phrase for your teen, for the circumstance, for what you're trying to say. All right. Because then that actually starts to trigger in their brain, okay, a voice of reason, a voice of reason. Do you see what I'm saying? So then they start to understand what that means, that, gosh, you know what? The voice of reason is actually something good in my life. It's something that I actually need to hear, not because I actually like it all the time, because we don't, but it's because it's what's best for me. And that's what being the voice of reason is. What is best for your teen? That's why you, mom and dad, become, seriously, where you're conscious of being, the voice of reason for my teen. Maybe the way they're driving, maybe how they are using or misusing their phone. Okay. Those are you being the voice of reason and structuring and showing them. If you've put guidelines on their phones, the voice of reason comes into, okay, this is why we have to do this. All right. This is what we're doing. This is why we're doing this. When I'm telling you about driving, like, oh my golly, do you need to be driving that fast? No, you don't. All right. The voice of reason then is also explaining to them, not just saying, stop driving like that. Okay. And and here's the thing too. Yes, sometimes you know what we do need to be like that, don't we? It's because mom said, because I said. But just in my own personal, opinion on some things as they get older, really it's okay, I think, to yes, sometimes be giving the reason why, okay? As opposed to just constantly always saying, because I said, because do you remember when your parents used to say that to you? Uh, how did that make you feel? Even right now, as I'm even maybe saying that, you're just like, oh, yeah, I do remember, well, because they said, and sometimes then what do? Rebel against that because she said, well, I'm going to show them because they said, right? So you come sometimes have, the rebellious side of the young person, and that's what they want to do because sometimes see their brain is not fully developed, so then they don't understand what you're saying a lot of times, and that's why the conversation has to be over and over and over again. All right, so that's why when you start making that phrase known, well, because you know what, I need to be the voice of reason for you today. I need to be the voice of reason in your life. And hey, it's not because I like being that myself all the time, but it's because it's what's best for you. And sometimes you cannot see what is best for you. And hey, it's my job as your mom, it's my job as your dad to do what is best for you right now. So as you get older, and when you're not living here, what are the things that you are going to be doing? And here's a big thing, especially if they are in a relationship, okay? So if they are in a relationship and they're, dating this person, what is going to be their voice of reason when they're not living in your home anymore? And when you have a guideline, hey, you need to be home at this time. Really, do you need to be at their house at midnight when their parents have to work the next day? Probably not. So you're putting in them to develop their own then voice of reason and how to listen to that voice of reason. Because again, it's not because we always like what the voice of reason is saying to us, but it's because it's what is right. It's because it's what is best. And then for me, and then also for you. It's what's best for us. It's what's best for you. And this is why I need to do this. That's what the voice of reason does. That's what the voice of reason is. It starts to develop that character, okay, a stronger character within themselves of the right and wrong. Not just because I feel like doing it, not just because I want to, and that's just the way it is, and I've got to do whatever I wanted all this time anyway. So why does it need to change now? It doesn't, right? So if we're not teaching them what the voice of reason is, how to implement it, because that is what happens. Then they just are just kind of roaming around and just running around, do whatever they want. Like I said, especially with a relationship, and especially, right? Hey, if you are not wanting them to be sexually active, and I'm going to make some other videos here with this, and I do have some in here, okay, in my channel here about um, not having sex until you're married. All right, so you can check those out also. So if you are not wanting your teen to be sexually active, then definitely there needs to be a voice of reason within them that is starting to develop and what is going on. Because, hey, the hormones are real, baby. All right. And that's at any age, isn't it? But when they're younger, because now it's like kind of new, like, holy smokes, what is happening here? And the voice of reason, what says, no, you don't need to act on those hormones and those emotions. So just whoa, ho, the horses there, buddy. Okay. So we just need to calm down. Just calm down. Take a cold shower, get a squirt bottle, whatever you got to do. Okay. So that's how, implementing what the voice of reason there. So as they get older, again, that they will start to implement that for themselves because you know what, they're not going to be under your care, so to speak, you know all your life and all their life. So at some point, hopefully, right, God willing, you're thinking that they will move out of my house, and not when they're 50. So you do need to be thinking about those things, all right? Because the goal is what? To be preparing them for life, right? So, and then as they get older and things, they get a career and they get a family, that, what, you can still have a relationship with them, that they will want to come to you and talk with you still, like, hey, dad, this is something that, has come up. And I really just want to get your opinion because you have been a solid voice of reason in their life. It's the same thing, mom, I'm struggling here. So what did you do when I was young? Now that they have children, because they understand, they see that mom has been a solid voice of reason in their life. Okay. So it's not because you have to be constantly saying things to them, because nagging and constantly just, okay, being a helicopter parent. I have a video on that. You can check that out too. Okay. That is not the voice of reason for them. That's the, oh my gosh, stop talking to me. Leave me alone. Okay. Here we go again. They are not hearing you. All right. The only thing they're doing is maybe nodding, shaking, and you're just, yelling and you're just arguing. And, they do not hear you. They do not go to their room and they do not lay there in their bed and be like, oh my gosh, you know what? They were right. My parents were right. I shouldn't have done those things. I should, they're not thinking that way. They're like ticked off. They're on their social media platform and they might be posting things about you. They're on Snapchat saying these things, what their parents did. And I can't believe how beep and dumb they are. And they never let me do anything. And I just can't believe it. So that's what they're doing. All right. They're not happy campers. You have made them even more angry. That does not give you insight into them. That does not help you build a relationship closer and connection with your teen. It does not. All right. So if you've been that, you might need to rewind this video and then go back to seeing how, okay, what do I need to do in order to be the voice of reason for my teen? And then implement it. Okay. Don't just watch this video and then be like, hey, that was really good. Okay, whatever. And then you get back on your phone and scroll through again. All right. Because it's not just the teenager that's scrolling through their phones and on there all the time. So when I'm saying about being available, when I talked about that, that means you be available and put your own phone down. All right. You put it down, put it on vibrate, put it aside so that you can be available to listen with what? Your mouth shut. Right. So that you can hear what they really are saying. Okay, that is how you be the voice of reason, and that's how you make this connection. I do have a talking to teens show too that you can direct your teenager to. All right. Okay, so thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.